Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are looking at some more stocks to purchase. I am going to first of all do a recap on the last stocks that I introduced, see how they're getting on, and after that then I'm going to talk about some more. So first of all, we're going to talk about Rio. Never introduced Rio, so I'm going to ignore that one. International Distribution Services, however, was one that I had a look at. Now, this one so far is doing quite well for me. I am still yet to experience some dividends, a dividend payout, which should be. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure when their dividend payout is. Last one was 28th of July, December, January, February, March. So let's go. Is that every 6 months? Yeah, July, December, July. So hopefully next month is when it will be announced. Then the payment date is in September. Cool. So that'll be something to look forward to. Anyway, International Distribution Services doing quite well. It has had a nice little climb. I think it's probably about 8% since I 10%. I think it's about 8% since I bought into it, which was, I'd imagine, probably around about here. 10%. There we go, 8%. That's where we are. So it's had about an 8% increase since I bought it, so I'm very happy with that. And that's going strong. I haven't actually looked at any recent news, so it doesn't look like there's any headliners for International Distribution Services. News flow May 24th to 24th. Old stuff. So it just looks like it's doing all right. As I hoped, that I bought at quite a low area. Hence why that's why I wanted to do it like that, because it gave it potential to push up. There's quite a lot of room for upwards climb. So I got a potential of tripling my money on that, and that's not including dividends as well. I think I will look to probably sell once I've reached a high point, or once I've reached a level that I'm happy with. But until then, I'm going to hold on to that and rinse it for what it's worth. So International Distribution Services doing well. Barrett Developments. I bought, and it's not done overly well, to be honest. Today it's had an absolute shocker of a day. As you can see, we've had a 4.1% decrease in its value, which isn't good. The reason for that is inflation's gone up, which means that people are less likely to spend money. And as I said before, that with inflation and interest rates, that has a knock-on effect on builders. So I'd imagine, I can't quite remember when they first started saying that inflation was starting to pick up and interest rates were going to go up, but I have a funny feeling that that's probably down to inflation and interest rates. So I'm not overly fussed. I am fussed, but I'm not overly fussed. But that doesn't deter me, because I'm happy to receive the dividends. And unlike International Distribution Services, September and April, that's half yearly again. So April to May. So I'm gonna have to wait for a good 4 or 5 months to get my dividends. Never mind. So you win some, you lose some. I'm still happy with my pick, and I've got a good counterbalance. I'm going to talk about Rio. I didn't talk about that in my first video, but I have purchased it, and it's something to talk about. So I haven't actually looked at this chart for a little while, and also the other thing as well is that I didn't look at it when I bought it. I just wanted to buy Rio Tinto because I had Rio Tinto before, and I wanted to get it again. So overall, Rio Tinto is looking quite strong. It's quite expensive overall, but there is still a good 26% increase until its very top. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that one. Overall, I'm happy with all three, and I look forward to receiving my dividends. SSE is the one that I haven't bought, and I don't think I will do, just because of how expensive it is in comparison. And I believe the reason why it's so expensive, off the top of my head, I reckon is because of energy prices, which are just pushing profits through the roof for energy companies, SSE being one as well. I'm not looking to buy in just yet. There are other things that I would prefer to look at and to try and achieve decent dividends and also decent growth, basically. So that brings me on to these three stocks. Now, the first one is one of my favorites I had when I was previously investing as well, and this one is Imperial Brands. Now, Imperial Brands are a tobacco company. They have an 8.08% dividend rate, which is, or 8.13% now, which is fantastic. It's right up there. It's where I want it to be. I think they perhaps pay quarterly. Do they pay quarterly? February, May, August. Yeah, it's quarterly. February, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, about that. So that's fantastic. It's right up there with where I want it to be. Now, as they're a tobacco company, they deal with lots of nicotine products, i.e. cigarettes, patches and vapes. Vapes being the key here. Obviously, more and more people nowadays turn to vaping rather than smoking cigarettes. Imperial Brands have also noticed that, and they're pushing that incentive as well. Rightly or wrongly, I'm not here to judge, I'm here to make money. The other interesting thing as well is that either new smokers or existing smokers who want to quit will instead turn to vaping rather than cigarettes. So them jumping on the bandwagon of vaping is fantastic. They're also pushing green initiatives as well. They've already opened up a zero carbon factory in Sweden, and they're looking to open up more around the world as well. They also have a Madagascar reforestation program, so they're trying to tick lots of boxes with trying to get in people's favour and make it seem like they're not so much of a nasty company, although they do supply addictive drugs, basically. But like I said, I'm not here to judge, I'm here to make money. Yeah, they reached their top in 2016 at price of 4163 roughly. It's now dropped down. It dropped down to 1269, and I bought roughly around about 154 before. It's then gone up. It's had a pullback, but it looks like they're going to. It looks like it's about to kick off again. To be honest, it looks like it's about to have a continuation going up. I watched a press release of someone who worked within Imperial Brands. He was one of the head people, and he was saying about all of Imperial Brands' plans to try and increase the shares of Imperial Brands by their green initiatives and by trying to diversify into other areas as well as nicotine, all of which is things for them to just try and make sure that shareholders are getting what they want and getting value for money, and also making sure that their money is constantly increasing. So this is something I'm seriously looking at. I would say I'm a bit biased just because I had it before and I was very pleased with them, and so I'm definitely going to be looking at getting some of those again, hopefully within the next sort of week or so, but we'll see. Imperial Brands is one I'm definitely looking at. The next one is M&G PLC. M&G is a savings and investment provider. All they do is manage money and are an investment company. So you'd basically give them money, they'd invest it, make you a little bit of money, make them money also. And so you would imagine with a company like that they can find good stocks and good investments to make to capitalize and increase their own share prices. They are having troubles recently. So as you can see here, this was COVID, this big COVID drop. If you look at, for example, UK Yeah, that's COVID, and that's their recovery from it. Look at the Dow Jones, that's COVID, that's their recovery from it. M&G, however, that's COVID and that's their recovery. It hasn't quite reached the heights that they've got before. Now, the reason for this is because they fell into a bit of debt, or they've had money troubles. Now, this isn't so much of a problem. What it is it's an opportunity for people to try and buy into it, because they are now making moves to try and reduce debt, by making cuts. Um, One of their biggest things that they'll be planning on doing is reducing their workforce by 4%, with voluntary redundancies, which will take place towards the end of the year and at the beginning of 2024. So if you think of that logically, they're going to have employment redundancies, which means they're going to have to pay less, which means that the value of the company should go up as they reduce their debt. So that being said, I would also recommend having a good look. I would recommend having a good look at this company. 30 to 32% increase to get to where they need to be really, which is around about this area, 260. So for that sort of increase, yeah, that's 30 to 40% increase. So that looks like a good opportunity, a good buying opportunity. Earnings, obviously, you can see here, bad. Yeah, but that doesn't deter me. Revenue's up on that one. The earnings, profits down. Doesn't surprise me if they're getting into debt. But the good thing with these guys is that they're actually having initiatives to try and reduce debt and sacking people basically, and that should hopefully get them out. The dividend yield for M&G, the dividend yield is a massive 10.05%. Which is huge. That is really, really good, and it'll be something that I'm definitely looking forward to chucking onto my portfolio. Their dividend payouts are March, August, so that's half yearly, which is also not a problem. So this is another stock that I'm definitely looking at. I'm definitely looking at M&G. My last one, which is almost a bonus stock for you, is British American Tobacco. Now, I see this in the same sort of line as International Distribution Services. It's a very, very cheap stock at the moment. You can see it's when it was last at this price, well, 2019 to 2021. So for a whole year, it was sort of around about that area. But before that, it was 2011, so that's over 10 years ago. So British American Tobacco is obviously another tobacco company. It has a very similar dividend payout of 8.98%, which is again really high. And the good thing about this is because it's so low, then again there's so much upswing, so much potential for it to increase. 108% there, which is amazing. You can see there was an attempt for it to come back to life, but it was squashed. It's at an interesting crossroad now. They have a new boss, and the boss is now looking to have a switch up of the inner circle. They have a new COO who should be coming in on the 1st of July, and they've also got a new Chief Strategy and Growth Officer, who I believe is coming in September, the 1st of September. Now, the boss is hopefully planning on getting everything turned around with this new crew. The biggest pressure that they're having apparently is regulatory pressures. But apparently the Chief Strategy and Growth Officer it's their job to try and swing it back round and get through the regulatory pressures and increase the value of the shares. I am very interested in both of them. Who has a higher, in terms of the tobacco companies? Now, British American Tobacco has got a higher dividend than Imperial Brands, and it looks like British American Tobacco is also in a better position for increase. So I'm sort of torn between the two really, of who I'll get first. but it looks like they both look in good positions. I will be buying one of these two in the coming weeks. So those are my 3 stocks that I wanted to share with you today. Also, in this time, I've had an absolute pain in the ass situation with LCG. LCG Trader has been down for just over 2 days. I put on 4 trades. These aren't live because LCG Trader's not actually publishing any live figures at the moment because they've crashed. So I had three trades. I know for sure that I had 4 trades open. I had gold as well. That was a nonsense one. That's been stopped out. Wall Street I know has been stopped out. Bitcoin is absolutely smashing it, and GBP, JPY is still running as a positive. I'm not sure if you've seen Bitcoin at the moment, but it is absolutely flying. As you can see here, something's been tipped off, and it's just climbed. So perhaps all this is basically hype about the new Bitcoin ETFs that are coming out. If you don't know what ETFs are exchange trade funds. A fund being an accumulation of multiple stocks, or in this case it would be cryptos. I'm not sure if they're mixing cryptos with stocks. It seems kind of weird to me, but it'll be an accumulation of cryptos, pretty much. So that will be interesting. But so far today, they've had a 5.6% increase, which is massive. But it did have a big spike yesterday as well. So over the last 2 days, it's so far gone up by 11.54%, which is absolutely mad. And I managed to catch that with a leveraged trade here. Again, LCG traded crashed, so can't see it for reals. But just gotta trust. I'll be looking at some more stocks soon, and I will be also messing around with markets and trading as long as LCG Trader comes back to life. If not, I might have to have a look for another demo company to play around with. So there you have it. Until then, though, I shall see you around, and bye.